Greetings and welcome to smartwatchtics.com. Well, here's a fun and quick, easy way to go to the next generation, right? Just stick on a new number. Welcome to the GTS 3 from SENBONO. Sorry guys, it came and went so fast we never did actually review the GTS or the GTS 2 from SENBONO. Now we have seen them by other names or other companies, the GT Square. That's generally what it stands for, smartwatch. And we got plenty of reviews on that, so you can just search our site under GTS and pull up the squares, the rounds, and the different companies. But SENBONO's implementation of the GTS 3 is as a Bluetooth calling 1.69-inch full touch screen smartwatch, and it's available from Banggood, and it looks really attractive. I love this. I can't wait to see that watch face. They did a nice rendition here in the picture. I got to admit that. So we got blood pressure, we got blood heart rate, we've got blood oxygen, an IP67 waterproof smartwatch, and all of the specs are right here quickly. I don't spend a lot of time on them for you because I know all you got to do is go in the show notes and click the buying link and you can peruse all of these. That's where they come from. Just like to point out, JYOUPRO. JU Pro is the Tethering App. That's something different. These are the languages supported by that app, and these are the languages of the watch itself. Again, it does support Bluetooth calling with this one. So it's got speaker and microphone and everything in it, and all kinds of different health monitoring and multi-sport modes as well. You've got step count, calories burned, all the typical stuff. Music control, camera control. There's no apparent memory in here for playing music directly on the watch. Sometimes when you have Bluetooth calling, because you have a speaker and mic, you actually have extra RAM or storage in it that you can put music, but not really on this one. I believe there's a remote music player though. IP67, 1.69 inches, it's TFT 240 by 280 because it's rectangular. The typical 220 milliamp hour battery giving you about 15 days standby, 7 days of use, and about 2 hours to charge it. Here's the materials and the sizes and measurements, and here is the box. So we're going to slide this out of its sleeve and take a look inside. Very simple. Charging dock, watch, and I'm sure underneath we got a manual. Pop this up. Looks like we've got a little cover or transparent film on top of it. Nice design. This is the silver one. It's also available in black. You got the charging ports. The diodes are in there. Sure enough, there's speaker on it over here. Looks like microphone is right there. One knob that comes out with the part of the design itself, removable, nice rubberized TPU style band. Attractive watch with the silver and the very dark screen. It gives a really good contrast. This one's going to be using a charging dock for us today, and it looks like it's a snap-in kind, so it's not just going to fall in. Let's give it a try. It's got a place for the knob to go. Yep, and you press it in there. So it holds in really, really solid. And of course, you got the standard USB connector for charging. Underneath the little insert is the user's manual. Whipping through that real quick. There's the QR code for the app. Again, we'll have the link in the show notes for you to hop right over to the Google Play Store. But you could scan this if you want to go in and get it that way. Recommend getting it from the Google Play Store because you know it's been passed through Google that way to check out everything rather than just downloading it from China directly. We're going to look at some of the screens here. There's some of the watch faces and different apps that you're going to see on this one. A little bit more information for you. And I think that's coming out clear enough, right? 2 pages at once. Some more information, and I believe that's it because the other side's Chinese. Alrighty, we'll be back after it's charged up. It's got that interesting design on the body, hugging the button. One press on the button, hold it, and there you go. It boots right up. And here's that fun watch face. You've got the time And the seconds, it's an electricity meter. That's pretty cool. It does show you, though, because it's fully white, that the watch does have a bit of a chin on it. It's not completely within the boundaries, so a little bit more square than the rectangular of the case, but not too bad. Doesn't show too much. When you swipe down, you got all these different controls. This one sets you up for Bluetooth tethering to your phone and will automatically hook it up so you can do phone calling and play music through the watch. That's really nice. Usually you have to do 2 different steps of tethering to the app and tethering to the phone and all of that. And this just really makes all that so much easier. Here's your standard settings, power off and restart. You can factory restore it. You got a few different languages in here, English and all of these. And these are the ones that you can actually have on the watch itself. And of course that switches so you can automatically set the language to match your phone. You can download the Tethering app and your product information is all right there, and that's from here. This is our overall brightness, and it's a slide control. Full bright, it is really, really bright. You see how it's washing out the camera right here? And when you go all the way down, it's not really, really deep soft, so it's still going to have some illumination at night. Might be a little too bright for some folks, but it definitely has a lot of nits in the thing. Let's bring it up to about right here, I think, for the review. You've got an onboard flashlight that you can turn on and off right there, all simply by swiping. You can lock the screen. When you do, touching the screen won't do anything. It's a good protection. You have to press the side button to unlock it. And this is where you can change the different look and feel of your apps. We're going to leave it in list style for right now, so it's a little bit easier to work with. And that's all the stuff from here. When you slide up, you get into that list, but I don't want to go there just yet. I want to go around this way. Here we are in your step count. There's my steps for the day, calories burned, distance travel, and look at that really creative chart. It's bogus, guys. That's one of the drawbacks in this day and age. And we just reviewed a watch from SENBONO that has a real actual chart for heart rate and for step count and all of those things, where it's in the circles. This is fake. It's not really... It's not real. The numbers are, but it's just giving you a pictorial. That's the longest timeout, by the way, 15 seconds, and it just keeps going out on me. Here's heart rate. Same thing. The chart is not real. It's attempting to get it with the green diode on the back, and of course, if you've got it on your arm or your finger or your nose or whatever else part that has capillaries, which is your whole body, you'll eventually get a heart rate on there. And that will, of course, be transferred over to your app as well later when you tether them together. You have a chart here. Looks realistic, but it's not. This is a static image on here. Come over here. You got last night's sleep time, deep and light, and totals. One more. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Weather. It's coming up unknown. I was tethered to the phone, and I was getting weather, but turning it off and turning it back on, it probably has to resequence all of that stuff. But you'll get a forecast. You get the idea. A nice long forecast, actually. And, of course, weather in your area in centigrade or Fahrenheit. It's still attempting to get a heart rate, I guess. And then there's the onboard music player that you can activate from here to play whatever music you have queued up on your phone. And it will play through the watch because this watch has a speaker in it, right? And we'll play a little bit of that here in a minute. And we're back to the watch face. Okay, so we've gone down and around, and the button is just an on-off button, or press and hold will activate the power off option. So swiping up is where you get into all of your apps. There's your step count, same chart we already saw. Your messages we saw. Sleep is exactly the same. Sports, get in here. You have walk, run, and cycle. Typically those are run with GPS, but there's no GPS in the watch, so it'll be by step count. Basketball, football, rope skipping through tennis, yoga's in here. A few selections for you. In health, you've got heart rate, Blood pressure we didn't see because there wasn't a card for that. It's using green diode, and if we waited long enough, we'll get a systolic over diastolic. One of the things that I like is it's telling you it's blood pressure, and it shows you the time of day as well. Sometimes you just like, while you're waiting, you want to know what time it is. Here's blood oxygen. It's also using the green diode, not the red. We prefer red. When a watch has that, it gives you a little bit better accuracy overall. But nonetheless, this will give you a blood oxygen reading. Again, recommend you check it against calibrated equipment. Taking too long, we're going to bail out of it and just keep moving. That's it for health. Weather. Again, we saw that. That has to synchronize to the phone to bring in the updates. Then you got your brightness, and we saw that control. Here you have it on a more full screen control. You've got a stopwatch in this one. Very fluid movement on here. We like to check and see if you can bail out of it. No, but you can pause it and then leave it. And if you come back in, it resets it. So it does not run in the background. Display time. This is what I was telling you, your timeout from 5 to 15 seconds. Your overall settings we looked at. Flashlight, we did that too. Search phone is going to be find your phone. Then here you get into your actual phone stuff itself. You got your dial pad where you can make a direct call. Your call records in here for incoming, outgoing calls, and then contacts that you transfer over, and all that's set up for making calls. You got a built-in calculator, which is a nice looking one as well. Shows you the function you're doing, gives you your reading. Wow, it's almost pi. Well, not really. Anyway, that's there. We got a little calendar, not much to talk about. Shows you the current day. Doesn't even really tell you the month other than the number. But it is a full calendar on here. Now we get into the fun stuff. Voice assistant and music. Here you can actually activate whatever you're using. Siri if you're on an iPhone, and Google if you're on an Android. And it's not a click and hold. A lot of times that's what it is. This is simply click, play the news.
Here's the latest news.
You hear that?
From Reuters TV, U.S. at 1:55 p.m. today. Your Reuters news update will begin after this message.
Pretty loud, pretty decent. And you can ask it anything else, and it'll immediately switch over and start doing that as well. If I brought the phone over, you would see it's typing what I'm talking about, what I'm saying right now, because it's hearing everything I'm saying through the watch, transferred Bluetooth to the phone in the Google search. Okay, but we're not going to actually do that, so we're going to bail out of that. Then you got your music player. Play this.
Now is the time to go bold because M&A is the fastest way.
And that's the news we were just playing, because that's the last thing queued up. So you got lots of different controls on here. You got volume control as well. Then you got breathing exercises. That's the inhale, exhale type of thing. There's no vibration. It's just visual. And for me, it's way too fast. I'm a calmer person than this, so I've actually been breathing with this of 2 breaths for every 1 breath there. But it does it for 8 times, and it stops. At least it's something if you're not doing any breathing right now. Remote camera, you've got that. And then here's the menu style we saw before. You can do this smart style, and you'll get all of these things in icons, no words, so you have to know what they look like. But they are 3 in a row, and they slide up and down. And you can also do the standard Apple honeycomb type of an arrangement if you want to as well. And of course, touching on any of them will bring them open too. Okay, let's take a look at the different watch faces real quick, because that covers all of that stuff. You've got this kind here where you have your power level in percentage, which I like, and other information from your health metrics. There's that electric meter. This one I particularly like, and I want to put the watch on to show you. It's a really nice dressy look. At least that's my opinion. And when you have this band on, and with the silver and black, it really has a nice complement. And it should twist your wrist to show the time, which it's not doing. I may need to activate that from the app. This is another one of those watches where it needs to be set up in the app to twist the wrist to turn it on and off. But there's another watch face that's attractive and looks like it takes up more of the overall screen. Here's a interesting one, another colorful one, and this is one that I made. This is actually wood grain in a table. Took a picture of that and then matched it with the date on the top and the time and heart rate on the bottom, and that's a custom face that I put together with. When you swipe to the right, you pull out a little card with time and date. You got phone calling, messaging, heart rate. That's your music player on here. You've also got calculator and stopwatch. But then again, these could be changing depending on what you most recently used. So let's take a quick look at the app, because this is a new one we haven't played with before. It's called JU Pro. This is it in the Google Play Store. When you open it, you can go in, set up an account, or you can go in anonymously, which is what I've done here. Your opening screen looks like this, and it doesn't have any other cards. So the layout and concept is different. You got your circle that shows everything. Here's your steps per hour against the number of steps on the side and the hour of the day, and your totals. There's the daily, the weekly, and the monthly summaries in here. So you have all of that. To get to the other stuff, you go here. Sleep. This is last night's sleep time, broken up in light and deep, and no REM sleep, but you do have that information. You get some data points for weekly and for monthly on here. Touching them does not give you the time when you were in those different modes, unfortunately, but it does tell you when you went to bed and when you woke up. And then you've got heart rate, and there's no continuous heart rate chart on this. Oh, yes, there is. Here you go. You got to touch it to get into it. Maximum, minimum, average, and so forth. There's yesterday. I played with it a little bit. This is today from midnight until now. And the dots at the bottom of 0 haven't happened yet, so they'll be logged as it goes along. You got weekly and monthly summaries that you can do as well. Then down here, you've got your overall quick glance, max, minimum, and so forth shown. Blood pressure, it only takes an instantaneous reading. It's not doing continuous on here. And I don't have any readings yet, otherwise you'll see dots on here. And it shows a degree of fatigue, which is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and do a test and show you the results. I skipped ahead, took out all that space. Here we go, 113/71. A little low for me on both counts. So it's not being calibrated to my physiology, age, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you're getting a reading. It's also at the same time doing blood oxygen. Look at that, and the fatigue level. Tap on it here, and now you're seeing a chart with the systolic, diastolic, and so forth. Not a chart with blood oxygen, though, but it is giving you that overall reading here. Then there's exercise, and we have no data here. This would be when you're actually doing some form of exercise, I presume, and it'll record all that for you. You have an exercise tab here, and this would use the GPS of the phone to give you your track and information, and so it kind of runs independent. You have to take your phone along with you, exercise using the phone, and your watch should just be along with it for the ride. So after the exercise tab is device. Here you can set it up for incoming call or SMS notification if you want to. Gives you the information on the device. Message notification, you can set that all up. And then here's your dial market of all the different kinds of additional dials that you could put on this watch if you want to. So it has a dial store. And as you can see, there's a lot of them, a lot of colorful ones, digital, analog, cartoon style. They just go on and on and on. Quite a few that you can play with here in the dial market. You can do your custom wallpaper or watch face with a picture like we've seen. And then you've got your contact information for the phone calling. Alarms, lots of different repeated alarms for inactivity, drinking water, or medicine. Those are here. remote selfie. And more settings is where you can basically look for the watch, factory reset it, have this power saving mode, and buried in the power saving mode is where the device vibration and the lift to wake up the screen are located. I think I have to save it first. Really strange. You can't do that on the watch itself. You have to do it in the app, and it's buried in the app. There you go. Now it's working, you see? And it hasn't been up until now. So remember that. Not device search. Where are we? Power saving mode. You got to go in there. Turn off do not disturb mode, but you can set the times for that, and then it'll override all this, but you want to make sure these are turned on, and you get a check mark on there too. Wow. Automatic heart rate test, turn that on. 0 to midnight if you want it all the time, or you can just do it at night or the daytime. And your time format set for 12 or 24 hour is available as well. That's that. Then the Me, if you log in, you can set things up, set your units and your goal, turn on Google Fit if you want to, and some more about. Okay, and that is pretty much everything on the app. There's your walking, and we're back to the first tab. So all of these, instead of being separate cards that scroll, are in here as separate screens that you activate that way. So this is it. It's an upgrade to the SENBONO line. Should be going into the mode if I can hold it long enough. No. Anyway, we could change watch faces back and forth if we want to, but they're available also by downloading from the store. Let's wrap it up. It's the GTS 3, the third of their GTS series. We don't have a review on the earlier ones, though, but we do have this one, a 1.69-inch HD full touchscreen Bluetooth calling. You heard what the sound is like. The call with the microphone in it, you just simply make the call directly from the watch or your phone, and you can talk and listen directly on the watch as well. So all of that for under $30 is a pretty decent deal. You can get over here to Banggood at this page, and if I got a coupon to reduce the price anymore, we'll have that in the show notes along with the buying link. So use that one if you can. It helps us out here at Smartwatch Tips. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.